Yeah, so this is a devil's dyke or a grob, and the difficulty here is that you've got the horses jumping downhill and uphill, and it's something they're not used to seeing for jumpers. And we don't use this jump as much anymore in the United States as they do in Europe. But in Calgary, each of the rings will have a devil's dyke like this.
Right.
And sometimes it's dry. You'll see I have gravel in the bottom, and then I can also add the Liverpool in there. And then you can change the configurations of this when you jump it at a really high level. If you watch one of the big derby classes at Spruce Meadows, you'll see they'll have a jump here. It's actually a triple combination.
Right.
And you jump down, across the middle, and up and out. The end is usually the most difficult jump. That's quite hard for a horse to jump going downhill.
Is it always vertical?
It's always different, whatever the course designer wants to set.
Okay.
And so we practice this because they'll use that in Spruce Meadows and a lot of the smaller derbies that the girls will be competing in, even as juniors, and Taylor as a first-year amateur will be able to compete in the international ring in some of the smaller derby classes. Some of the other things we have a big bank jump over there that is a similar bank to what you'd see at Southampton. They've historically had a bank like that there, although they wouldn't have it set this difficult with the poles like we have it set. But again, that's set for getting ready for Spruce Meadows, just to introduce some different elements so the horses are used to seeing things that they don't see every day. And that's a very difficult bank. Over on the other side of the field, you'll see I have a smaller bank that's really kind of the beginning bank that you learn to jump on. I've got it set now with poles on it, so it makes it a little bit more difficult because these horses are used to doing it. But with a young horse, we'd have all the poles off. It's very low and easy and inviting.
Right,
so
right.
Most people who are going there know to get ready for that. So it's really funny looking. If you look at it from the other side, you'll see it has bicycle pedals and the whole bit.
Wow.
And it's also because it's skinny, and when they set it really big, you know, the open horse, the international jumpers there will jump it at the top of the standards, and it's can be a very difficult jump to jump clean if you haven't prepared for it. You'll see here then I have a very large open water jump here. That's 10 feet across, and it's set so that you could set it even up to an Olympic standard of 14 or 15 feet of width. Wow. And then next to it is a real Liverpool that I've got an oxer set over today, but that jump is designed so that, again, with a young horse, I can use that as sort of a beginning water jump to teach a horse how to jump a real water jump. You'll see in the outdoor ring today, I have just a plastic water jump, which again, we're going to school one of our younger horses over later today that we're just learning how she jumps water jumps.
And if you don't
can still get over it.
Right.
They don't land in the middle of the water jump and get scared or spooky. So I can set this jump up. I don't have it set that way today. I have it set as a Liverpool for the experienced horses.
Right.
But I can make it look just like this water jump by changing the standards and putting a little wall in front of it. And then let the young horse jump that. In fact, we may do that with the young horse that we're going to jump later today. Just so that then you can ride to that. Then I can move all that equipment right here and ride to that, and it's just a little bigger, but it looks the same. And it's really important, especially with water jumps, when you're training young horses, to make sure they're comfortable with it, because the water jump is a bravery test. So the last thing you want to do is make a young horse scared of it.
Right.
That's why you see some people really having issues with water jumps and the horses stopping way back. So it's important to introduce them properly.
Keep it real user-friendly.
And that's why we have the different types.
Wow, that's amazing. So you have a gate, you got there's the bank you were referring to over.
Right, exactly. I've got it set now. The older horses were schooling yesterday, and that's quite difficult with the tall rails on top of the bank.
Okay.
Which again is something they might see in the Derby the first week. The Derby is the first week at Spruce Meadows. It starts right off, so we've got to go there kind of ready to go. So we started actually about a month ago reintroducing the natural obstacles.
Wow. Just
because we don't get to do those here in the United States very often.
And what makes that so hard? The fact that you're coming down the hill and you jump one and you have to kind of keep them together enough to, is it the jump out that makes it hard?
It's all of that. Again, it's a bravery test. Because the horses come there and they look at the jump and they look that they're going to jump down.
Right, okay.
And so it's frightening for them.
Right.
And so once they get used to it, then the difficulty with this now is the introduction of the pole. So if the horse comes and makes a little mistake and looks too much, they can have a rail. So that's why they set it like that.
That's the trick.
That's the trick. And you
Okay.
can see here with the big bank, the difficulty there is when you come, say, from the Red Ox or up the hill, you'll see it has a steep hill, and then there's just a little flat section that's only about 8 feet. So the horse doesn't actually get to see that he's going to jump off a big bank until the last moment.
Right.
And then they look, and then it's really spooky for them. So they have to be very brave to want to jump off of that. But it's a matter of, most of these horses are brave. It's a matter of introducing it so they know what's coming.
Right.
Making different variations so that no matter what the course designer sets,
Right.
they're ready.
And do you find with your skinny with the black poles, is it harder for the horses to see the black poles?
Can
Is
be,
that
yes. It
part
can.
of why you did
It can
the
be,
black?
yeah, because what happens is it blends into the background.
Right. I noticed you had it set kind of up against the backdrop of the bank. And
Right.
I thought,
It
wow.
blends into the background, and it makes it a little bit harder for the horses to see. So they have to really pay attention to what they're doing there.
So this is your homework course, and you're
That's
questioning them so they're prepared
Exactly.
when they get to the big stuff.
Right, and
That's
it's not just for the horses. For
Right.
example, you know, these horses are fairly experienced, but it's for the girls as well.
Right.
You know, they don't get a chance, unlike in Europe where you could jump derby jumps and lots of waters and banks and ditches a lot.
Right.
At different horse shows, we never get
Never
to do
have it yet.
So that's one of the reasons we like to go to Spruce Meadows, is because it's a very European show.
Right.
And it introduces the girls to these elements. So we've been having a great time the last month just practicing.
This is amazing, your course out here.
Well, let's
All
get them
right.
out here and go
Thank
to work.
you, sir.
Right. Good. Now settle right away. Settle. Whoa. Settle. Settle. Now, that's okay. Yeah. Now, there you go. Super. Settle. Settle. Again. Yeah. Yes. Excellent. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what I want to see. Lovely.
Francis is going to jump a narrower jump. Houston sometimes will touch those, so we like to practice those at home to make sure that he's jumping carefully and that she knows where to place him for maximum chance of him jumping it clean.
And that's a question they ask a lot up at Spruce.
Yep, yeah, they have a lot of very, very careful
Tricky.
jumps at Spruce, so you want your horse not to touch them at all. And so she's going to practice over this black one with Leopoldo Palacios, who's one of the course designers at Spruce, loves these skinny jumps, particularly the bicycle jump over here is one of the signature Spruce Meadows jumps,
Yes,
if you will.
yes, that's what Jay was telling us. It even has the pedals on it.
Yep, exactly.
But
So
it's also hard to see, and that's really interesting.
yeah, and they tend to use very light materials. So if the horse touches it at all, it'll come down. So you
And the
really-
cups are flat, right? They're not
Yes.
like a regular cup.
Exactly. So the horse really has to give it room. So let's see how
Keep your
he jumps
shoulders
this
square
black
at
one.
the takeoff.
And so he's talking about Francis, telling Francis to make sure she keeps her shoulders back at the takeoff, because that way she's staying out of the horse's way. And now she's going to jump the grub.
Awesome. Lovely.
And here's Taylor again.
Okay, so she's going to
What's
come.
the name for it?
She's going to come and canter the grub, and she's going to try to be smoother. The last time she jumped it, it was a little bit rough. So she's just going to try to stay in a nice, even canter, keep her leg on to give him confidence. He knows he's supposed to jump, but he worries a little bit about it.
Settle. Settle.
That was perfectly smooth. She got right to the base of it, and it was very jump, and that's a very
How
careful
big is that jump?
That jump is probably 4'9",
4'9".
or a meter 45.
And what will they be showing? What level at Spruce?
She's going to start out in a class in the international ring at meter 45.
Wow.
And so they have 2 shows at Spruce, the first one and the 5th one, that are where they show in the international ring. And we want to get in that ring because Spruce Meadows often will have up to 30,000 people watching. And the only time you get to have that many people watching is at the Olympics.
Right.
So it's great for the kids and the horses to get the experience in an atmosphere like that. Because it just is not, there's no place else in North America where you can get that opportunity to show in an environment like that. So we just love
real international experience.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
And that's what you guys are aiming for ultimately, is to be able to go to the Olympics, or do we dare say?
No, you don't say. I mean, the youngest person on our Olympic team in Hong Kong was 35 years old.
Okay.
So really, you have to make it your life.
Right.
It's not like a skater or a gymnast where by the time they're 25, they're done.
Right.
And then they can go to college and go on. If you're going to go to the Olympics, you have to do it as your life. So
you have to wait and see who wants it for the long haul and who.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
So it is very interesting. So.
And Kim, how do you prepare the girls for something like this? Are they different in personalities before a big class? How you handle Taylor versus how you, as the mother and the matriarch of the family, how do you keep everything?
I basically, Jay has enough emotion for everybody. So I try to just stay calm and just make sure they have what they need as far as food and their clothes, and that they're organized and that the horses are well prepared.